Welcome to the Past in Pictures channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one.
The recovery operation by the ship CS Mackay-Bennett, carried out after the Titanic episode, highlights the difficult task of recovering passengers after the event in the early 20th century, showing the emotional impact and the importance of recognizing those involved in that moment that deeply marked maritime history. In 1991, in Ramat Gan, Israel, people wore traditional protective masks, reflecting concern over possible chemical threats. This context highlighted regional tension and the vulnerability of the population during a period of strong international instability. The presence of a large crater after an underground test in Nevada reveals strategic experiments carried out in the 1960s as part of the United States nuclear program. These events mark both advances and concerns within the technological rivalry of the Cold War. The formal reading of the case against Ted Bundy by a Leon County sheriff in police uniform represents a milestone in a highly publicized criminal case in the United States in the 1970s. The formality of the moment reinforced the importance of judicial and police work during that period. In the period image, a man wears old-fashioned clothing while receiving a foot massage in an indoor setting with vintage furniture. The practice reveals traditional medical knowledge from the 19th and early 20th centuries, when treatments like massage were considered essential for improving circulation and general health. The modern decor and bright lighting show a contemporary setting, where cultural references such as the opera poster for Madama Butterfly by Giacomo Puccini and Hollywood elements reflect the impact of entertainment on today's culture, marking a phase of diversity and artistic innovation. During World War I in 1917, the use of protective vests, such as the one created by Guy Brewster, became a crucial advance for troop safety in combat areas. This innovation reflected the need for greater protection as the destructive power of weapons increased at the time. In the 1940s, mental treatment institutions in the United States, such as Cleveland State Mental Hospital in Ohio, reflected care practices that evolved over time, influenced by medical advances and debates about patient rights, shaping the development of healthcare in the country. In 1944, a fake suburb was built to hide an aircraft factory that was essential to production at the time. This strategy allowed operations to remain discreet while protecting industrial infrastructure, marking a camouflage tactic used during that period. A black and white Volvo PV544 collided with an anchored submarine in Lysekil, Sweden, on August 19, 1961, becoming the only known record involving a car and a submarine. This episode shows the curiosity of unusual events that marked automotive history during the 1960s. Around Modena, Italy, children faced the difficulty of crossing the river to go to school using a pulley system that supported a rope bridge in 1959. This method shows the infrastructure limits of the time and highlights the importance of education in shaping Italian society. A bearded woman in eye-catching clothing performs a dance at Club Samoa in New York in 1950. This scene reflects the artistic freedom that emerged after World War II, marking a phase of social and cultural change with the growth of entertainment and new expressions of identity. In the early 20th century, alligator farms were popular destinations in North American culture, reflecting the era's interest in exotic species. The photo reveals the importance of parks and attractions in presenting wild animals, helping increase public interest in exotic wildlife. The figure of a German politician stood out in German government propaganda during the 20th century, symbolizing the ideological manipulation of power in Germany. His role had a deep impact on the formation of the state apparatus, influencing decisions that led to historical events with major worldwide consequences. Professor Heckler's stage troupe presented flea circus acts, a popular form of entertainment in the early 20th century that attracted varied audiences and helped establish the circus as a cultural phenomenon. This tradition pushed the growth of traveling entertainment at the time. During the 1870s, violence in New Mexico led to the formation of groups such as the Lincoln Regulators, who sought to fight corruption and local injustice. These events marked the beginning of a struggle for legality and influenced the history of the region. Boston Corbett, from the 16th New York Cavalry Regiment, gained attention for stopping John Wilkes Booth from escaping after the death of Abraham Lincoln in 1865. His action marked a decisive moment in the investigation and in the reconstruction of the post-Civil War period. The presence of historic architecture, formal clothing, flags, and a decorative tower suggests the setting of a major event in Russia, possibly tied to political or state celebrations. The Kremlin, a symbol of Russian power, has been the stage for decisive moments in the country's history, such as the transition from the Tsarist period to a new political system in 1917. The visit of a foreign leader to the royal palace in London in the 1960s symbolizes a phase of diplomatic strengthening for the United Kingdom, which sought to assert its global influence after the end of colonialism. This period highlighted the importance of international relations and official representation. The closer relationship between Moscow and Washington on the eve of the end of the Cold War in 1989 represented a major shift in relations between the superpowers. The meeting in Malta symbolized the beginning of easing tensions, contributing to the eventual fall of the Berlin Wall and the end of the ideological conflict that marked the 20th century. At Justine Bateman's 17th birthday in 1983, young people celebrated, surrounded by rising television stars of the 1980s, such as Sarah Jessica Parker and Michael J. Fox, marking a moment of cultural rise in the era of civil rights and expanding television, which transformed the entertainment industry. Beauty contest celebrities such as Rachel McLish, Chris Alexander, and Lydia Chang attended the Cannes Film Festival between May 8th and May 20th, 1985, promoting the film Pumping Iron 2 and marking the growing popularity of fitness and 1980s fashion culture. The boys' excitement at seeing television for the first time symbolizes the arrival of a new technological era in society, marked by the growth of consumer electronics in the 1950s. This moment represents cultural transformation and its impact on daily life, shown through the nighttime urban atmosphere and old architecture. The construction of the Golden Gate Bridge, completed in 1937, marked a crucial achievement in civil engineering, showing technological advances and improvements in worker safety. The installation of a safety net under the structure, requested by the chief engineer, saved 19 lives during construction, symbolizing the priority given to safety at the time. In the early 20th century, a very large camera was built to capture a full composition of an entire train, marking an advance in documentary photography. This innovation made it possible to record large-scale scenes, influencing visual documentation methods and the appreciation of historical records. The work of Isambard Kingdom Brunel highlights his importance as one of the greatest engineers of the 19th century, responsible for innovations that modernized infrastructure such as railways, bridges, and steamships. His contribution was essential to pushing industrial and social progress at the time, transforming transportation architecture. Lyndon B. Johnson drove his amphibious vehicle through the water, reflecting interest in technological innovation during the 1960s. The amphicar, a symbol of mobility advances, stood out in history by combining land and water functions, representing a milestone in automotive engineering. In the 1920s, Fritz von Opel stood out for innovating with his rocket car, symbolizing technological advances that pushed vehicles towards speed and experimentation. This phase marked the beginning of efforts to go beyond physical limits in the history of mobility. F. E. Yates rode his customized motorcycle, showing a technological advance from the early 20th century. This moment marked the introduction of motor vehicles into urban routine, highlighting industrial progress and the change in mobility in English-speaking cities. In the 1960s, Chevrolet launched the Corvette Stingray 427, a symbol of sporty design and power that marked an era of innovation in the auto industry. Its presence in films and events strengthened its iconic status in the automotive world. The Marine Angels Passage along the Chicago River marked an important moment in urban maritime expansion, highlighting the growth of a city that, in the 1950s, was strengthening its role as a financial and commercial center. This action reinforced the connection between the river and the local economy. The introduction of a television combined with a telephone at the International Radio Exhibition in Stuttgart in 1965 reflected technological advances that anticipated the idea of multifunctional devices. These innovations pushed the integration of communication and entertainment, shaping technological development in the following decades. Actress Carrie Fisher, with her hair tied back, stands beside George Lucas on the 1982 set of Return of the Jedi, a milestone in the production of Star Wars. This phase strengthened the film's influence on pop culture and established the franchise as one of the most important in movie history. On the night of the Grease premiere in 1978, Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta drew attention with their distinctive styles, marking an important moment in pop culture. This production became an icon that influenced fashion and youth culture, securing its place in the history of 1970s cinema. The showing of a mafia film starring Marlon Brando and Al Pacino represents a milestone in the film culture of the 1960s, influencing generations by portraying power, honor, and the conflicts of organized crime. This work strengthened the reputation of the genre and changed movie history. The production of black and white films marked an important phase of Hollywood, with filmmakers like Billy Wilder pushing comedy forward through memorable stories. In 1959, the success of a work starring Jack Lemmon reflected the peak of that era, influencing generations and strengthening classic cinema. In the 1950s, celebrities like Frank Sinatra and Grace Kelly emphasized the glamour of cinema during Hollywood's golden age. The scene, captured in black and white, represents the setting of the musical production High Society, marking the influence of the classic Mercedes-Benz 190 SL on the culture of the time. Joanne Woodward and Paul Newman, present at the 1958 Academy Awards, represent a glamorous moment at a major event in the film industry. The ceremony, held in an elegant hall, marked one of the couple's first public appearances, symbolizing the rise of actors who influenced popular culture in the following years. At the release of Les Parisiennes, Roger Vadim and Catherine Deneuve appeared at an occasion that highlighted the strength of French cinema in the 1960s. The photo reveals the vintage style of the time, reflecting an important moment in the country's film and cultural history. In the 1950s, Cary Grant charms with his classic style while enjoying a day at the beach beside Betsy Drake, reinforcing the popularity of the glamorous lifestyle of that time. This era marked the consolidation of leisure culture, reflected in fashion and behavior. During 1958, Ingrid Bergman, a prominent actress, was seen enjoying a ski vacation with her family in a snow-covered setting, reflecting the popularity of winter tourism in Europe at that time, which strengthened the European economy and encouraged cultural exchange. In the 1960s, people attended stadiums in elegant fashion, as shown in the photo of Vincent Price offering a hot dog to his wife at Dodger Stadium. His ownership of season tickets reflected the growth of sports as mass entertainment and its cultural role at the time. Bob Ross, who hosted the television program dedicated to painting, served as a master sergeant in the Air Force, and his path shows a remarkable and inspiring career transition. His story demonstrates how military experiences can shape successful artists. Joe LaForce, an emblematic figure of the Old West, was a legendary sheriff known for his work on the American frontier in the late 19th century, specifically in 1899. His sepia-toned image shows formal clothing typical of the era, a wide-brimmed hat, and a well-defined beard, reflecting frontier life and law during westward expansion. In the late 19th century, the presence of strong women in entertainment showed cultural changes and the growing appreciation of female physical strength, highlighting figures like Miriam Kate Williams, known as Volcana. Her performances reflected the growth of circuses and fairs that spread new artistic attractions. The appreciation of beauty contests in the 1920s reinforced women's autonomy, marking social and cultural growth. In 1926, a young woman with natural hair and simple clothing placed second in Miss America, showing changes in fashion and in the perception of women at the time. During the 1950s in Paris, the French resistance faced the German occupation during World War II, and composers, artists, and intellectuals such as Marcel Marceau stood out in the fight for freedom. His art inspired hope and resistance, strengthening French culture. An elderly woman in County Galway, Ireland, works with her old spinning wheel, reflecting a moment of rural life in the late 19th century. The sepia-toned photo highlights a traditional way of life before modernization, marking a time of social and technological change in the region. In the 19th century, photographic records reveal the behavior of visitors in France, especially in alpine regions. The presence of tourists in formal clothing at places like the Chamonix Glacier shows the growth of mountain tourism after the Industrial Revolution, driven by technical advances in photography. At the height of the 19th century, Les Petits Savoyards represented cultural carriers of musical tradition in the Alpine region of France, revealing the importance of local folklore in shaping national identity. These expressions influenced the development of popular arts and the appreciation of regional roots. The photograph reveals a festive occasion in Norway in 1900, marked by elegant clothing and period hats, reflecting the social style of the time. At that time, wooden buildings and the absence of modern technology showed a traditional way of life that influenced the country's development. In the early 20th century, a female lifeguard watches Brighton Beach, where gas lamps light the sand as a carriage passes in the background. This image reveals the fashion of the time, with long clothing and women's hats, marking advances in the organization of safety and leisure along the waterfront. At the beach, people wore conservative bathing clothes and elegant hats, reflecting the modesty standards of the 1910s. The black and white photograph reveals a moment of transition in fashion, before modern swimwear became popular, marking important cultural and social changes at that time. In 1924, a woman from the province of Toledo posed for a color photograph, a technical innovation of the time that helped popularize the use of autochrome. This innovation marked an important advance in the history of photography, making it possible to show colors more realistically. The 1908 photograph captures Monet beside his wife Alice, symbolizing the link between art and life at a time marked by the rise of photography as a recording medium. This technique revealed vivid details of everyday life, influencing the appreciation of visual culture and the Impressionist movement. In the early 20th century, a young Winston Churchill pays for a taxi in London, at a time marked by carriages and steam-powered vehicles. The city was going through urban development, foreshadowing changes that would transform the political and social landscape of England and the world in the following years. In the 1960s, Istanbul, men in traditional clothing help intoxicated people get home, reflecting the city's mix of Western and Eastern culture. This period marked a transition in Turkish society, with urban growth and openness to foreign influences, strengthening its strategic role between Asia and Europe. Classic-style gaming machines light up the inside of an entertainment space in Las Vegas, typical of the 1950s, marking a phase of rapid growth for the city as it became a leisure capital. This era strengthened Vegas's worldwide fame, attracting tourists and visitors from many parts of the world. Celebrating glamorous Las Vegas-style productions, the show brings together girls from many parts of the world, including cities such as Paris, London, Rome, Lisbon, Cairo, and Rio de Janeiro, in sophisticated dance sequences. This memorable event highlights the role of female performers in popular culture, raising the level of stage entertainment and strengthening its global influence. The bold look of the 1980s, marked by big hair and shiny fabrics, symbolized a phase of cultural and musical expression. Figures like Samantha Fox represented the energy of a decade of freedom, celebration, and innovation, influencing fashion and entertainment in Brazil and around the world. Shakira Kane, an actress and model of Indo-Guyanese and British background, stands out in this photograph from the early 1970s, a period marked by cultural change and advances in minority representation in media. The decade brought greater recognition of diversity, influencing fashion and international cinema. The image captures an elegant woman at the Eiffel Tower in 1939, a period of strong cultural energy in Paris. That year, France faced the rising tension of World War II, whose outbreak in 1939 deeply changed the European and world scene, influencing art and fashion in the French capital. The chess match involving world champion Anatoly Karpov reflected the peak of international competitions in the 1970s, a period marked by the strengthening of chess as a symbol of the Cold War. This match, held indoors, highlighted the importance of the sport in global diplomacy and the culture of the time. In the 1960s, the Port of New York was an important center of international sea transportation, supporting trade and large-scale immigration. Ocean liners, like those in the image, were symbols of an era of economic growth and global connections, marking a period of prosperity. The photograph of a young woman recorded in the early 1940s reflects a time marked by social and economic changes due to World War II, which influenced the growth of working-class neighborhoods and the entry of women into the labor market, as shown by the clothing style of the 1940s. A woman with vintage-style curly hair dressed in period clothing appears in a black and white photograph, showing the look of classic portraits. The old wooden background and vegetation reinforce the atmosphere of a time before modern trends, marking a moment in the history of fashion and culture. During the 1940s, women wearing period hairstyles and clothing worked in offices equipped with manual typewriters, reflecting a mostly male workplace and the growing entry of women into the professional labor market during World War II. A group of young women with curly hairstyles and mid-season clothing takes part in a social gathering in an indoor setting decorated with artificial lighting, reflecting the fashion and festive mood between the 1930s and 1950s. These women represent the freedom and spirit of resilience that marked that era. A light-haired woman with a 1960s hairstyle walks along a paved street decorated for Christmas, surrounded by wooden buildings. This period marked cultural growth in media, with classic photo shoots that reflected fashion and the festive mood, strengthening Christmas traditions. Sophia Loren, with her reddish-brown hair and black lace dress, highlights her strong role in modern pop culture. The string lights and indoor setting with a light blue wall reflect contemporary trends that marked the evolution of interior design and fashion. The clothing and accessories of the 1970s, such as short dresses, knee-high sandals, and big hair, marked the urban fashion of the time. An old quality photograph reveals a street setting with a sidewalk, vehicles, and storefronts, illustrating the vibrant style of that period. A black and white image captures a muscular man with a striking look, reminiscent of the 1980s. This photograph highlights the value placed on male appearance at the time, influencing beauty and advertising trends in the United States and in English-speaking countries. The presence of a woman with dark braided hair wearing a metal costume suggests a modern event, possibly a themed party or artistic celebration held in the 21st century. The decorative lighting and dark background indicate an indoor setting, typical of special events that value style and entertainment. Harrison Ford appears in a kitchen surrounded by utensils, appliances, and decor typical of the 1970s, reflecting the style of the time. This setting reveals the common home look of those years, a decade marked by cultural changes and technological advances that influenced daily life. Period vehicles, such as rounded design buses and small automobiles, illustrate urban transportation in the mid-20th century. Monumental buildings with classical architecture reinforce a scene of growth and modernization in city centers, marking a phase of social and economic transformation. During the 1960s, women's glamour was marked by elegant lingerie styles and period clothing, reflecting an era of cultural change. Icons of this period opened the way for more refined fashion, while simply decorated rooms highlighted the shine of figures like Boucher in an atmosphere of glamour and innovation. In the 1950s, the path of the United States justice system showed advances in popularizing law as an instrument of justice. The acquittal of a person under investigation, as the newspaper headline suggests, reflects social changes and the strengthening of the idea of presumed innocence during that period. In the early 20th century, rural communities in Texas used mud and straw buildings, reflecting adaptation to local conditions. These traditional techniques helped preserve indigenous culture, while the old photograph captures a simple routine in a close relationship with the natural environment. Women dressed in long period clothing with long hair stand out in an outdoor setting decorated with delicate iron elements, suggesting an elegant Victorian-era garden. This scene points to the advance of soft lighting techniques in old photography, which value details and atmosphere. At the beginning of the 1930s, the auto industry was growing quickly, and specialized services appeared to maintain vehicles like the Ford Model A, a symbol of progress and innovation. Shops like Lysekil played a key role in the expansion of the automotive field. In the 1940s, women working as camera assistants at outdoor events played an important role in cultural promotion, reflecting the fashion and technology of the time. These experiences helped popularize photographic displays in public spaces. Appearing on a Paris street in 1922, an old moped reveals the advance of personal mobility at the time, before automobiles became widely popular. This innovation represented an important change in society, making faster travel easier and influencing urban development in the 20th century. In the early 1980s, the Soviet Union sought to modernize its social and cultural image by promoting leisure and fashion among its people. Odessa, an important port on the Black Sea, reflected these changes with beaches that showed a mix of style and tradition, marking advances in everyday Soviet life. During the 1940s, military training intensified with the preparation of the soldiers in camps, focused on protection and discipline, shown by the record of a recruit receiving a uniform haircut. This practice helped create a standardized appearance, a symbol of dedication and unity in the war effort. In the early 20th century, a shopping street in New York displayed tall, ornate buildings with horse-drawn carriages moving under natural light. These images reinforce the urban transformation and economic growth that shaped the city at that time. Children play around a piece of German military equipment in this winter setting in 1944, reflecting how the conflict reached civilian life. The presence of warm clothing and leafless vegetation indicates cold weather, while the black and white photo shows the atmosphere of the time.